Did you paint graffiti in Nebraska?
Yeah, that's where I started painting.
How
Yeah.
was it here compared to there? Did you ever get nabbed out there?
Um, yeah, I got caught one time, and it was bullshit. It was total bullshit. We didn't get caught painting. We got caught just walking around. It's like I don't know, anybody that lives in a small town, whether it's even in Massachusetts or New York State, if it's a small town, you know how sketchy it looks to be a teenager walking around with a backpack at 1 a.m. If a cop drives by, you were getting stopped.
Yeah, no one's
New York,
outside.
yeah, no one's outside. New York City or like Chicago, you can have a backpack, walk around all day, all night, and no one's gonna stop you because it's like, dude, everybody has a bag. Everyone has a tote bag or a backpack, but in small towns they don't. So we were just we were walking to a spot. I mean, we were painting, but they didn't know that, And we were walking at backpacks, stopped us. The kid I was with got immediately shook and just blabbed a little too much. And then they arrested us and tried to interrogate us. Like, they took us to like the precinct. I didn't say anything. I don't know if that kid said anything at that point. I think he said too much to get us handcuffed, but after that he was like, oh, now I know I don't talk anymore. And then they just took us home. My mom was super down for it. She was like, oh, you have to shred everything, because I had like, drawings everywhere. My mom knew it was up, and she was like, here, and just moved like a paper shredder into my room and said, shred everything you have. And I just shredded everything. And then again, of course, the cops came the next day to like try and talk to me at my house. I like didn't say anything. We like sat on the porch for like 10 minutes. They asked me a bunch of questions, and I just like shook my head and shrugged my shoulders, and then they left.
Yeah, I mean, in places in smaller towns, they'll go hard.
Yeah.
And you really, like you said, you cannot walk around with.
No, yeah, it's
you will look
sketchy.
so sus.
Yeah.
And if there's not that much graph, they
just-
will literally catch you.
Yeah, it's shot. It's terrible.
You don't even have to go far, because like in Staten Island, there was examples where people get caught and they literally make the newspaper over there. Like, you don't even have to leave the city. We
don't even have to talk about Staten Island
it's
either.
insane.
COVID cases and everything. The place is shot.
Yeah, but
No diss, but
yeah. And then in terms of painting here, seeing it from a smaller town perspective, and I'm assuming you've been nabbed here.
yeah.
What did you see were the main differences?
Honestly, it's like, I don't know why cops do arrest kids, because almost every time I've gotten brought into a precinct, the arresting officer gets made fun of by all the other cops for bringing in a graffiti writer. Almost every time they get made fun of. So it's like, what's the point if you're going to get, I mean, I'm sure they have numbers and quotas and stuff, but like, they get clowned every time. So I don't know why they care so much, but, and every time they're just like, oh, why are you still doing this? Why are you doing this? Like, you're 28 or however old you are. You're too old to be doing this. And they're always so confused, but they still, I don't know. There's not really much dialogue going on, so I don't really know like their thoughts on it versus anywhere else. But
did you face any serious repercussion? Because I know a lot of people just pretty much get almost scot-free.
Yeah, no. I've definitely been in situations where I should have gotten in a lot of trouble, and like in the tags and throws video of the Zexer, you just keep saying no, and they'll drag it out, and you just keep saying nothing, wasn't me, and eventually it will go away. They'll scare you, but if they had something, you would be done for it. And if you keep saying no, then it'll eventually go away, So that's what I always play that card in, and I've avoided community service in New York somehow. One time they tried to give me community service, and I asked if I could pay a fine instead. I was like, I have more money than I do time. Can I pay a fine? And they were like, yeah, how about $100 per day? And I was supposed to have 3 days, so I paid $300 fine and didn't see community service. But yeah, every time it's like a fine, or like, a lot of times they'll give you like, here, you get a year probation. If you don't get in trouble, we'll drop the charge. That's like everybody that gets in trouble in New York has that. And it's, I don't know. I've never really had to deal with anything here. It just keeps getting like dropped, really. Because you don't get caught painting. Your lookout looks sketchy most of the time. No matter how good they are, they're looking kind of sketchy just standing there. And then you're walking away from your fill, and the cops put two and two together, arrest you. They didn't see you painting, but you have paint in your jacket, or there's a can that you threw in a trash can next to your fill, and they know it's good, so they book you anyway. And it's like, you take the fucking, what do they drop it to, like a not even a misdemeanor, it's like a violation. They give you a violation, and then it's like, okay, yeah, no contest to a violation, which is nothing, no community service, you get time served for staying the night in jail the night, and then you get out the next morning. don't get in trouble for a year and it's all good. It's like, and I feel like everyone has to deal with that. Some people, you know, bigger names probably get caught maybe more often or have bigger cases because they're up more, and they have, you know, their lawyers, you pay like a stack or $2,000, and then the same thing, they just had to pay $1,000 to get the same charge. Someone like me who paints green board lots all the time, and your shit just kind of goes away. You know, you chill just don't get caught for the next year, and it's all good.
What happens if you get caught in the next year? That's my question.
It's like I don't know, it depends. It's like case to case. Like, yeah, it depends on the borough, really. Like, I know Queens cares a lot. Manhattan doesn't care at all. Brooklyn hardly cares. It depends on like what you're painting, I guess. I think I've always kind of played by that rule. It's just like avoided, like maybe chilled out for like a year or something, or like didn't go too hard for a year. But I have gotten caught multiple times and within the year though, but they were in different boroughs, and I just assume they don't talk to each other. But I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard cases where they I don't know if they make this stuff up, but I have a friend where they told him he's gonna do like a few days in Rikers if he gets caught, and as soon as he said Rikers, you know, it's like
You get
in
scared.
anyone's soul, you're like, oh shit, like I don't want to do that. But
Yeah.
you know, like,
I don't know. I avoid state property. I don't like to do highway walls. I don't paint like the BQE pillars, and just don't paint like state property. Just stick to like roll downs and stuff. And I don't know. I mean, because I'm pretty sure how it works. What I've been told and what I've kind of put together is, well, when Graffiti Free NYC was a thing, you had to make a complaint to get them to come to your spot. And to make a complaint, you had to have a photo or whatever. So say someone does a buff wall and someone has a hollow on it. They take the photo, boom, it's done. They're not going to take another photo for every tag and fill-in that goes on there. So it sucks to go over people. I don't go over certain people, but if there's like, you know, if it's a buff spot that gets wrecked by a bunch of people currently painting, then yeah, you do a fill-in on it. But as long as it's already painted, the photo's already taken, the insurance claim's already made, then the complaint that gets filed to the police doesn't have your name on it. It has the first person who painted it. So every fill-in you do, it's not in a police folder. You know, the Vandal Squad's not going around making their own complaints. They're collecting complaints from people and property owners. So I just try to avoid painting state property because that's always a complaint, no matter what. Because anytime the city buffs it, they take a photo before they buff it, and that's a complaint. And if your graffiti is legible enough, they're gonna know. You know, they just put it in the donut folder, put it in the whoever folder. It's like, it's pretty simple. But I just, you know, avoid things that are gonna be obviously like seen by the cops, like state property and shit. And